Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I want to show you guys how you can get and use free audio effects known as VST plugins inside of Davinci Resolve 14. So you can actually add in these audio effects both on the Fairlight tab, which is the main interface for audio effects, or back on the Edit tab as long as you've installed them. They'll show up under audio effects in either case. And these audio effects do not come out of the box inside of Davinci Resolve, but that's okay because there are many third-party plugins that are VST effects compatible with Davinci Resolve 14. So what Davinci Resolve is going to do is it's going to look in a couple folders in your computer to see if you have any of these VST audio effects. And these folders are specified when you go to Davinci Resolve, Preferences, and Audio Plugins. So Steinberg/VST plugins and program files/VST plugins, those are by default, but I also added in program files/VST plugins. And when you add those folders in, and there are plugins, and you reload Davinci Resolve 14, they should show up down here, but as well as in the audio effects side panels in both Fairlight and Edit tabs. Now, these plugins, how do you actually get and install them? Well, if you go Google search around, and I mean literally, all you need to do is go Google search free VST plugins, and you'll get a lot of sites talking about all of the best free audio effects plugins you can use. There are paid plugins, of course, which may give you better quality interfaces, better results, maybe a little bit less buggy, but it's kind of up to you whether you want to go with free ones or paid ones. So on this page, and I'll link it in the description, of course, for you guys, you have a lot of different effects here. Some are more specific to instruments, which is like if you're actually doing music production. But if you scroll down here, there's also other stuff which might be useful just for editing the sound in a video. Stuff like Spectrum Analyzer. Now, there's a lot of different audio effect utilities out there, from adding in MIDI sound effects like a virtual instrument to doing noise reduction on your video, which, if you're like me, is much more applicable. But really, you'll have to do some research and see what's out there because there are a lot of different tools. In any case, when you go and grab them, you basically just find the download page, download the file. It's usually going to give you either a zip file, which will have an executable file inside of it, or it will just give you the executable straight up. So this Reaper plugins, all you need to do to install that is to double click it, and then it'll give you a standard Windows installer. So you would just basically go next, and it's going to install to your computer. So those are almost always going to install in one of two places, one of which is Program Files x86/VST plugins for 32-bit files. And for 64-bit VST plugins, you'll find them in Program Files/VST plugins. Now, of course, that's applicable to Windows machines, but it's pretty similar whether you're on Mac or Linux as well. It's just that the folders change around a little bit. So once you have those installed, you should reboot Davinci Resolve 14, and then if all goes well, they should pop up in the side panels on both the Fairlight tab and the Edit tab. Now, when you want to add one of these effects into your audio clips, you just need to find the audio track and the clip that you want it to show up in. So I'll go over here to these clips that haven't been affected, and we can drag in a tool like Safe Compressor onto that clip. It's going to pop up, generally speaking, with the graphical user interface for that VST plugin, and you can see it gives you some extra controls. Here's an audio compressor, which can be used for basically decreasing some of the high sounds in your video so that they are less impactful on the overall audio quality and you get more consistent audio levels, because you really don't want it to peak at 20 decibels higher than everything else in the video. So using a compressor, you can kind of bring those levels down from what they were originally. And also, on the inspector, which you can open up, always in the top right, regardless of which tab of Davinci Resolve you're on, it should show up as another audio section down here. So you can see that by default, Davinci Resolve has the clip volume and the clip equalizer, but now we have the Safe Compressor added in with all of its custom controls. So now we can just play around with it, do what we need to, adjust the audio until we get it to the right audio quality. But yeah, once again, there's many different VST plugins, and how each of them works is completely different from each other. as long as they're in different categories, of course. So we're not going to cover that. This video is just about explaining how to get it up and running, and hopefully I've done a decent job of explaining that. So I've been Chris, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my future video content.